Our first speaker today wants to share her personal experience on how different types of schools work differently for different types of students. Please welcome Vivian to the stage.
Good afternoon. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its entire life believing it is stupid. Unknown, attributed to Albert Einstein. You can't have, in a race, a student with only one leg, Rubem Alves. When I was a kid, okay, I'm still a kid, but when I was younger, like 4 or 5, I studied in a traditional private Catholic school. There, I had a teacher called, we can't say names, so Mrs. Babrushka. Mrs. Babrushka was a terrible teacher. She would scream at me a lot. And she would also do a lot of strikeouts, where she would just stop working and school would be closed for a while. Once, she had her second strikeout in a row. That's 2 months with no school. Little me was ecstatic, though my mother did not share my feelings. So, she went to the school and she talked to Mrs. Babrushka, who responded by saying I had ADHD. That's attention deficit and hyperactive disorder. So my now very worried, very upset, angry mother took me to a child psychologist that said that I do not, in fact, have ADHD. My angry mother then switched me from that school, and I actually did a lot better in my new school and all the ones that followed it. But years later, I asked myself, why did I do so badly in that first traditional school? I'll get back to that later, but until then, I have a question for you all. Who in here has ever had a bad experience in school? You can put your hands down. That's right, because we've all been there. Whether it is a bad grade, or bullying, or that math equation you just can't solve, we've all been there. And let me tell you, it's no reason for shame, and sometimes not even your fault. Most times. Now, for the parents, I have a question for you. Which parents in here have ever been disappointed by a grade your child has showed you? Really? Well, for some parents, it's a great issue. And to them, I'd say, it isn't your child's fault now, as much as it was yours back when you were a child and you brought your bad grades home to your parents. There are, maybe, the style of learning just wasn't for you or for your child. There are 2 main types of learning. There's constructivist, like Esfera, and traditional, like some other schools. None is better than the other, but they are different, and so are made for different people. Constructivist schools follow more of a different style of learning, where knowledge is built in a significant way by the students, with the guidance and support of teachers by asking questions and investigating about things that we do not know. And traditional schools, where knowledge is built in a way more, traditional, where you copy material and you answer questions. These are such different styles of learning. Of course, not everyone will do well in both. And that is why I didn't do well in that first traditional school. It was traditional, and I don't do well in traditional schools, only constructivist ones. But not everyone's the same to me. Everyone's different, so everyone needs a different style of learning. Some people do better in traditional schools. Some people do better in constructivist schools. And that is okay. It's perfectly normal. But laziness has nothing to do with this. There's a difference between laziness, which is not trying at all, and difficulty, which is trying but not having high success rates. In both cases, you try and help the person suffering from it by identifying their issue and adapting your style of teaching to their style of learning so that they can learn it their way. In the US, there was a program called No Child Left Behind, but rather, this program should be named Millions of Children Left Behind, because it standardized tests and learning to traditional tests and learning all across the US. And since I stated previously, that wouldn't work, because everyone needs a different style of learning, and they made everyone's learning the same. Even the Washington Post said, No Child Left Behind took the law off track by mandating that students hit arbitrary scores on standardized tests. No Child Left Behind has failed. Remember the quotes I said earlier? Well, that is what the people who said it meant. If you say someone is stupid because of something they can't do, they'll never try and improve in it. They'll always believe they'll be bad at it. If you can't do something the same way as everyone else, you shouldn't be punished for it. And that is exactly what Mrs. Babrushka did to me. She made me believe I couldn't do it. She made me run a race with one leg. So next time you see someone struggling intellectually, don't think you're stupid. Think you have a difficulty, and I get it. So I'm going to do all that I can to help you overcome it. Your way. At least, most times. Thank you.